Welcome to the Imperial Grandstand. I'm Alan Imperial.
I'm Carlos Del Rosario.
And on today's episode, we're going to be talking about Drax.
Yes, Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy.
And we're going to be seeing what kind of class he's going to be. And, well, first, before I get into that, Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy, in my opinion, just stole the show in all of Guardians of the Galaxy.
You know, I have to admit, when I saw the trailer and stuff, I'm like, everything looks cool about this. I'm not so sure about Batista because before, in movies, I wasn't looking forward to seeing Dave Batista in something. But it turns out he is really good in it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, it's Bootista. Boo! I got my eye on you, and, I saw you the whole time. You weren't moving slow enough for me.
All right, so
not somebody outside of wrestling you would know.
yeah, and now it's like he might be Bane, which would actually be a perfect role for him, I would say. I mean, from Batman. So, yeah.
Yeah, he had a really nice quiet moment in Blade Runner 2049 until it got loud.
Yeah, no, I loved seeing him, and he's gonna play Beast Raban in the new Dune movie. I was like, yeah, that's great. I want to see him as Beast Raban.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Drax. He's an incredible character. It's like you think you know what his character is gonna be about, and like he is friggin' hilarious, and he has so much heart, and he's so sincere. You know, I can't help but not like him.
Yeah. From an RP perspective, he literally has the perfect background where he has the tragic backstory of lost his loving family to a villain, and now he has to seek revenge.
Oh yes, yes. It's textbook Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, and then you get to give somebody redemption in that whole mess.
Yeah, it's wonderful. He does go through this magnificent character change in the first movie. Yeah. All right, so what we'll try to acknowledge is what class is Drax in D&D 5e. Now, we're not trying to give you the perfect build with all the stats. There are already, a lot of things out there, a lot of websites. There's some YouTube channels. There's some amazing things that give you a great build for Drax. But these are just thoughts on Drax as watchers of the MCU. It's like, oh yeah, this might work with D&D.
Yeah, as fans of both D&D and of Marvel, just being like, oh yeah, if I saw these guys as characters, who would I try to make them be? Yeah, and of course, since I'm not the perfect PC player character, I'm gonna make some mistakes when building him. So this is kind of how I would build him.
Yeah, how I would build him. But yeah, we're just gonna go for playing for fun, and we're just trying to figure it out. Like, yeah, these things align with D&D from the MCU. So let's go on ahead. Let's start with stats. Now, for strength, the strength is really high. Obviously, he has a lot of examples of high strength.
Yeah. He literally rips a robot in half.
Yeah.
Which I think is better than what Steve did with wood, personally, in terms of strength.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's a lot of strength stuff going on, and we'll get into that later. Next highest is Dexterity.
It has to be.
And it's like, you think as Drax, this big guy, he'd just use these large weapons, maybe a large sword or a large hammer, but no, he uses dual knives, which means he's dexterous.
Yeah. He literally jumps into the maw of a monster with only 2 knives.
Huh? No, Drax! Wait a minute! Drax!
Yeah. And next one up, Constitution, also very high.
I think it has to be because he's the second person to reach out to Peter.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, and the end of Guardians of the Galaxy when he's holding the Power Stone. Yeah,
Right.
that's one large. That's a group Constitution check right there.
Yeah, and he definitely helps with that.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of others where he's just he's just dragged through the trees
Right through the
in
trees. Yeah.
in the second Guardians movie.
Yeah. That's kind of a ridiculous scene, isn't it? It's like, how is he surviving this? But it's like, yeah, fine, whatever.
He starts off in space shooting things, and they kind of forget about him that he's attached to the ship when they land.
Yeah. Now, we've mentioned all his physical skills, but I think he's just one of those players that is like, I'm just gonna just have all the big physical skills, and the other ones, whatever. But I would say personally that his intelligence is okay, not great, but okay, because the one thing that he has is an excellent vocabulary.
Yeah, he has to be well read because he just uses a lot of big words, and I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Irksome.
What if someone does something irksome and I decide to remove his spine?
And yes, he is a walking thesaurus.
Do not ever call me a thesaurus.
It's just a metaphor, dude.
He is.
I would say his wisdom is low.
Oh, This is why many people think he's dumb.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say Drax is dumb, but he does lack insight into other, and I think it's partially because of how he was raised and his people that they don't understand metaphor. But yeah, there's just stuff like he thought that Yondu was Star-Lord's biological father. I'm like,
Well, they look alike.
and it's like, he's blue.
You look exactly alike.
One's blue.
I love how every time that there's a big meeting and there's a plan going on for the galaxy or the universe, he just doesn't care.
To let you know that he wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
I just saved Quill.
We've already established that you destroying the ship that I'm on is not saving me.
When did we establish?
Like 3 seconds ago!
I wasn't listening. I was thinking of something else.
Or he's just yawning.
Are you yawning in the middle of this while I'm breaking it down? Huh? Did you hear what I said?
Stop listening after you said we need a plan.
Okay, Mr. Kling's on his own page.
Yeah.
So,
Charisma, I would say low. Yeah. I don't see him persuading people all too much. Intimidating, yes, but I think that's if you want to homebrew it, that's mostly because of his strength skill. If you use strength as intimidation, as some DMs do, that makes sense. Yeah, he would be good at intimidation, but not much else.
he's terrible at lying.
This is weird. We've got a sovereign fleet approaching from the rear.
Why would they do that?
Probably because Rocket stole some of their batteries.
Dude!
Right. He didn't steal some of those. I don't know why they're after us. What a mystery this is.
Yeah, no, he's not very good at deceiving. The only person that he deceives is Mantis, but that's because her insight is super low.
She just doesn't have a lot of experience with life.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
Didn't you say you could make him sleep?
When he walks, he's too powerful. I can't.
You don't have to believe in yourself. Because I believe in you. I never thought she'd be able to do it. With as weak and skinny as she appears to be.
As for races, we're just gonna go with the quote-unquote official races in D&D. No unearthed arcana or
No
homebrew stuff.
because homebrew. There's outer space homebrew, and while totally makes sense for Guardian of the Galaxy, it gets weird fast, guys. And it's what we love about homebrew, but it just gets really, really big.
Yeah, personally, I was swaying between half-orc or Goliath, and this time around I went with half-orc.
Yeah, well, Goliath kind of makes sense because of the stats. He isn't like 7 feet tall.
Yeah, it's more for someone else that we're saving up. But yeah, just gotta hold some in the tank if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
But as a half orc, your strength score increases by 2, your constitution increases by 1.
Yep. Half orcs mature a little faster than humans for age. They reach adulthood at around age 14. They age notably faster and rarely live longer than 75 years.
Yeah. Now, here's something that's a little different, and you can ignore it if you want, but half orcs have dark vision, and I know for a fact that Drax does not have dark vision because in Guardians of the Galaxy, when they're invading Ronan's ship,
He still needs.
he still yeah
He still needs the light.
he still needs light. He can't see anything, so that's where it's like, all right, I might have goofed up there, honestly. But he does have the menacing trait, which gives him proficiency in the intimidation skill, which
It's how we meet Drax.
yeah,
Actually,
that's how he does it.
You know who I am, yes?
Yeah, Drax.
Also, he gets Restless Endurance when you are reduced to 0 hit points, but not killed outright. You can drop to 1 hit point instead. You can't use this feature again until you finish a long rest.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of times he almost dies. One is with Ronan, off the top of my head. Let's see, where else does he survive?
He survives Rocket's ship being crashed into him.
Right?
Yeah.
And then it's the thing we alluded to earlier while he's being dragged through the trees.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was awesome! Yes!
Oh, also, and I keep forgetting half-orcs have this, he also has Savage Attacks. When you score a critical hit with a melee weapon, you can roll one of the weapon's damage dice one additional time and add it to the extra damage of the critical hit.
And that just means more damage for the big guy.
I know, it's like a critical already gives you more dice, and like, you know what? Oh, I get
One
even more
more.
dice. Here you go.
Oh.
And it's just, whoa.
3 dice.
So, yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, just more damage.
Yeah.
Now,
In terms of his class, everything in the movie shows he likes his melee weapons. So for me, he's either going to be a fighter or a barbarian, just because he's always attacking. I don't know. What do you think?
yes. I would go with a straight up barbarian. Yeah. Yeah. From one of the books, I forget which one. These barbarians, different as they might be, are defined by their rage, unbridled, unquenchable, and unthinking fury. More than a mere emotion, their anger is the ferocity of a cornered predator, the unrelenting assault of a storm, the churning turmoil of the sea.
Yeah, that's Drax.
That just sounds like Drax, and it's like, you know what, you got me. And the great thing about barbarians is that they have they have a high hit dice, a 1d12, so they have a lot of HP.
Yep.
As for proficiencies, you get light and medium armor and shields. I would say that Drax goes unarmored.
Yeah, he RPs because he has a very an ailment with his nipples. They're sensitive.
Drax, why aren't you wearing one of Rocket's arrow rings?
It hurts.
Hurts.
I have sensitive nipples.
My nipples hurt. Oh, goodness me.
So he likes to go topless when at all possible.
Yeah, when all possible, yes. As we said before, he uses dual knives, but he has used other weapons. He uses, I don't know what model it is, but it's a space rifle when he shoots down the Sovereign ship in Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Spaceship!
He also uses the Hadron Enforcer,
a bunch of times.
Bunch of times, yes. Yes. And
He when he meets Yandu for the first time,
yeah.
before he realizes that Peter's safe.
The lunatic on top of this craft is holding a Hadron Enforcer. A weapon of my own design.
Yeah. I think it's because he can handle the kickback. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. That's why Drax is usually the guy behind that.
Yep. And then
And,
he uses it again against Ronan himself.
What are you doing?
I'm distracting you big turd blossom.
Yep. Saving throws, strength and constitution.
Yeah.
For skills, I think we settled on athletics and intimidation.
Yeah, intimidation definitely, because we meet him and he just freaks out the guy whose knife gets stolen.
I like your knife. I'm keeping it.
That was my favorite knife.
Yeah.
And then there's Kraglin.
Yeah.
Won't there be hundreds of Sakaran soldiers inside?
I think of Sakaran as paper people.
What defines a berserker is their rage. In battle, you fight with primal ferocity. On your turn, you can enter a rage as a bonus action. And you gain a few benefits. You have advantage on strength and strength saving throws. When you make a melee weapon attack using strength, you gain a bonus 2+ to the damage roll. And you have resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage.
And he definitely needs that because he's going unarmored for the resistance. And I don't know, every time he swings, his muscles flex. So even if he's just using a knife, I think he's using strength.
Yeah, I know. It's like technically knives are dexterity, but it's like you could, if you want to make an exception, make them strength weapons. I mean, yeah, sure. I'm not gonna stop you.
Some homebrew.
Yeah, I'm not gonna stop Drax. Like, they use my strength. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, you tell him no.
So there is something that backs up his not wearing armor called Unarmored Defense. While you are not wearing any armor, your armor class equals 10 plus your dexterity modifier plus your constitution modifier.
And he already said that Dex and Constitution are one of his highest numbers, so it just helps with him.
Yeah, that's why his Dex I know is pretty high, because like he chooses not to wear armor.
Yeah.
So, at second level, you get Danger Sense. At second level, you gain an uncanny sense of when things nearby aren't as they should be, giving you an edge when you dodge away from danger. You have advantage on dexterity saving throws against effects that you can see, such as traps and spells. To gain this benefit, you can't be blinded, deafened, or incapacitated. Like, that's nice. I don't see how it's applicable in Guardians of the Galaxy or the Marvel films, but I'm like, okay, yeah. Keep up with that.
Hold on.
Yes.
He has advantage on Dex saving throws. Oh, but they're such as traps and spells. What if a ship crashing towards him is an effect? Because he does see it coming.
Okay, yeah. You know what? That's a very good point. I like that. Maybe he felt that danger, and then he jumped out of the way, which would be a Dex save. I like that thinking. Very good. I like it. And then he takes half damage for
and then he's incapacitated.
Sure.
I was mistaken. I do remember your family. Their screams were pitiful.
Which means he went to 0 health, didn't die, and then got back to 1.
You see, the cogs are turning. Next up, we have Reckless Attack. Starting at second level, you can throw aside all concern for defense to attack with Fierce Desperation. When you make your first attack on your turn, you can decide to attack recklessly. Doing so gives you advantage on melee weapon attack rolls using strength during this turn, but attack rolls against you have advantage until your next turn. And like, Yes, this is Drax from the first Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, when he first tries to fight Ronan.
Yeah, it's like just he goes into a rage. He fights Ronan. It's like doesn't give a crap about defense, and he gets his butt whooped.
Nebula! Retrieve the orb.
Yep, he almost drowns in the yellow gunk.
Yep. Oh, also, there's in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, where he jumps into the giant creature, the obelisk, and it's like,
And he just goes, ah!
yeah, that's
And
that's-
because it died, it had no way to attack it. So, good on him.
yes. Now at 3rd level, you get a Primal Path. You choose a path that shapes the nature of your rage, such as Path of the Berserker. Your choice grants you features at 3rd level, and again at 6th, 10th, and 14th levels. We will get back to this eventually. Yeah. We'll save this for the end, but it's important. Yeah.
Yeah, it branches out very quickly, and it's like we want to take our time.
Take our time. We're just gonna keep around. Now let's talk about possible feats.
One that just jumps out to my mind instantaneously is going to be Dual Wielder. You master fighting with 2 weapons, gaining the following benefits. You gain a +1 to your AC while you're wielding a separate melee weapon in each hand. You can draw or stow 2 one-handed weapons when you would normally be able to draw or stow only 1. So, for me, he's only using 2-handed stuff all the time. Again, I'm going to go back to Obelisk because I don't know, I just love the soundtrack, and if I was be able to play the music, I would right now. Thanks, copyright.
Yeah, but that's a really cool ability, and we know that he is a dual wielder right off the bat, and it's a great skill if you decide to have 2 weapons in each hand.
Yep. Now, another feat that's definitely on the table, if you've known him as long as I have, is Grappler. And this is just an honorable mention for me because Bautista, boo! I don't care you got the belt. Boo! So, what Grappler does is you develop the skills necessary to hold your own in close quarters grappling. You gain the following benefits. You have advantage on attack rolls against a creature you are grappling. You can use your action to try to pin a creature grappled by you. To do so, make another grapple check. If you succeed, you and the creature you're both restrained until the grapple ends.
Yeah.
And, yeah. Look at him just kicking butt over there. Yeah. So, boo!
Not so much for Drax, the character, but, honorable mention, as we said before.
Yeah, honorable mention, just because, yeah, I knew him back when he was under McMahon's belt.
Yep. All right, next one up, and this is overall a really cool ability, Sentinel. You have mastered techniques to take advantage of every drop in any enemy's guard, gaining the following benefits. When you hit a creature with an opportunity attack, the creature speed becomes 0 for the rest of the turn. Creatures provoke opportunity attacks from you, even if they take the disengage action before leaving your reach. When a creature within 5 feet of you makes an attack against a target other than you, and that target doesn't have this feat, you can use your reaction to make a melee weapon attack against the attacking creature. I think during the fight on Ronan's ship, yeah, that we could see him use Sentinel all over the place. Like he's stopping guys and kicking all sorts of butt, and it's like, yeah.
Yeah, he's just wrecking face for that first part, up until He gets a finger to the throat. But yeah, you just see him just take down so many people without worrying.
Yeah. And finally, for feats that he may have is tough. Your hit point maximum increases by an amount equal to twice your level when you gain this feat. Whenever you gain a level thereafter, your hit point maximum increases by an additional 2 hit points.
Yeah. And we just know this is happening because every time that he's crashing through something, he's either laughing or screaming yes.
Yes!
We're just like Kevin Bacon.
Yes.
Yeah, when he's going through what's that place called? Berthmont?
Burhart?
Yeah, Berhart. There it is. Yeah, when they crashed on there.
That was awesome! Yes!
Beginning at 5th level, you get extra attack. Beginning at 5th level, you can attack twice instead of once whenever you take the attack action on your turn.
Yeah, and we see him attack a bunch of times when he's inside the obelisk. Clearly, that's more than one attack.
If that's not extra attack, I don't know what is. I mean, yeah. Also at 5th level, you get fast movement. Your speed increases by 10 feet while you aren't wearing heavy armor. Fair enough.
Yeah,
Makes
and
sense.
he never wears heavy armor, so bada bing.
At 7th level, you get Feral Instinct. Your instincts are so honed that you have advantage on initiative rolls. Additionally, if you are surprised at the beginning of combat and aren't incapacitated, you can act normally on your first turn, but only if you enter your rage before doing anything else on that turn.
And you see this where he's in the the prison place, and he first learns about metaphors and how it went over his head. And he's like, nothing goes over my head. I would catch it.
Yes.
And
So
it's like,
Nothing goes over my head. My reflexes are too fast. I would catch it.
I'm gonna die surrounded by the biggest idiots in the galaxy.
that's his Feral Instinct. I like that.
yeah. Something else that definitely goes towards feral instinct is the fact that he enters a rage before doing anything else on his turn. And what's the first thing that he does against Thanos in Infinity War? Thanos! You know, he gets all raged up and disintegrates into blocks. But yeah, for his family.
Yes. There we go. It makes sense. And like if that's not how a berserker uses rage, I don't know what is. I mean,
Yeah.
brutal critical begins at 9th level. You can roll 1 additional weapon damage die when determining the extra damage for a critical hit with a melee attack. This increases to 2 additional dice at 13th and 3 additional dice at 17th level. And yeah,
If you're keeping score, this is 4 additional critical dice. 5 additional critical dice at 13th level. What the heck?
yeah, that's a lot of dice for yeah.
With the other criticals that he's doing.
Yeah. But yeah, I definitely see this when he kills Korath.
Yes.
And Guardians of the Galaxy 2, with the finger to the throat means death. And then he just rips. And it's like, oh yeah, that's extra damage for the critical.
Oh yeah. Oh, when they're running in to try to get Ronan in the first Guardians. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he goes all
At 11th level, you get Relentless Rage. Your rage can keep you fighting despite grievous wounds. If you drop to 0 hit points while you're raging, and don't die outright, you can make a DC 10 Constitution saving throw. If you succeed, you drop to 1 hit point instead. Each time you use this feature after the first, the DC increases by 5. When you finish a short or long rest, the DC resets to 10. And yeah, we see this when he survives Ronin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Groot has to do the thing with the finger,
Yeah,
but yeah, he definitely doesn't die.
yeah, he doesn't die. And we go on, but this is the last one we'll talk about. At 15th level, you get Persistent Rage. Your rage is so fierce that it ends early, only if you fall unconscious or if you choose to end it.
Yeah, and you just see everybody try to calm him down before the first Ronin fight, and yeah, they all fail. So, perfect Berserker.
Yeah.
Now, for the Primal Paths, for the subclasses, uh, there is a bunch of them, and we're going to choose something out of. I'm going to say something from the Player's Handbook. For some barbarians, rage is a means to an end, that end being violence. The path of the Berserker is a path of untrammeled fury, slick with blood. As you enter the Berserker's rage, you thrill in the chaos of battle, heedless of your own health or well-being.
This does sound like Drax. I won't debate that, but the actual skills you get with Berserker, I'm not impressed by, because the first one's Frenzy. And starting when you choose this path at 3rd level, you can go into a frenzy when you rage. If you do so, for the duration of your rage, you can make a single melee weapon attack as a bonus action on each of your turns after this one. When your rage ends, you suffer 1 level of exhaustion.
Right, and that sounds okay,
Yeah,
but these exhaustion levels really could
Yeah.
hurt you.
and it's like I don't think it pays off, honestly.
Yeah.
It's
Exhaustion, for those not in the know, is kind of a build-up thing where I think you only get like 3 or 4 levels of exhaustion before you have to take a rest.
Yeah, it's detrimental to your character, and with every level, something else happens. And some berserkers aren't bothered by this, and they just take a rest. But it's like, I don't know, just for a single melee weapon attack as a bonus action. It's like, I don't know, I don't, yeah, see it paying off. I'm gonna be a little controversial here, and go with instead of being a berserker, I would go with being a totem warrior. Now, a totem warrior, the story doesn't really align with Drax, which hurts me, but yeah, I'm gonna go with it because it's probably one of the most versatile subclasses there is for barbarian. So let me just read out Totem Warrior here. The path of the Totem Warrior is a spiritual journey, as the barbarian accepts a spirit animal as guide, protector, and inspiration. In battle, your totem spirit fills you with supernatural might, adding magical fuel to your barbarian rage. Most barbarian tribes consider a totem animal to be kin to a particular clan. In such cases, it is unusual for an individual to have more than one totem animal spirit, though exceptions exist. So, you get to choose which totem animal you get, and I just love the variety. You have bear, you have eagle, elk, tiger, and it levels up with you.
Yeah, and a lot of them align to what he does.
Yeah.
Which, for me, the one that screams out the most is going to be eagle, because while raging, while raging and you aren't wearing heavy armor, other creatures have disadvantage on opportunity attack rolls against you, and you can use the dash attack. Excuse me, and you could use the dash action as a bonus action on your turn. and you just see him use a lot of uh never well actually you never see him wearing heavy armor. So for me this just screams, oh yeah, he would use this. But the RP value of Berserker just it does hurt me
Yeah, I
because
know. They're what we're at odds here. Where it's like, yeah, no, Totem Warrior is totally more flexible. I like this, and like you go with any one of these, and it's like, oh yeah, this would totally come like Bear. While raging, you have resistance to all damage except psychic damage. The spirit of the bear makes you tough enough to stand up to any punishment. So that's most magical damage. I
yeah,
mean, that's kind of cool, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
and you do see him go up against Thanos a bunch, so it's like, yeah, of
yeah.
course he would have that totem.
At 6th level, the totem, um, you get to get even more powers. So with bear, you gain the might of a bear, your carrying capacity is doubled, and you have advantage on strength checks made to push, pull, lift, or break objects. And it's very fast, but there is a shot in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 where they're going onto Ego's ship, and it's Drax carrying all the luggage.
Yeah, he's the pack mule, and you just see him with the biggest backpack.
Yeah.
Uh, and and the nice thing is you don't always have to choose the same totem per level, so you don't have to go bear bear bear
Yeah.
or eagle eagle eagle.
Yeah,
Which
so
is
we could go on and on, but it's wide, it branches, you could do a lot of things with it, and most of them will align with Drax. It's just that the story of a Totem Warrior doesn't quite work with Drax. Um
so it's one of those. How are you gonna build your character? Are you gonna go RP, where the Berserker makes much more sense because yeah he's sad and he has rage inside of
yeah.
him for the
Yeah.
loss he has, or are you going to go and just build the better character? And for us, if it was me, I'd build the better character.
Yeah, also when he goes into a rage or maybe a frenzy, it's like I never see him get exhausted. It's like he's beaten up, sure, but like is he exhausted? A person that I think is a better candidate for Berserker is the Incredible Hulk. Because he becomes the Hulk.
Smash.
And, he gets bigger. And then he goes back to Bruce Banner. Bruce Banner must be, like, he wants, like, a sandwich or something. I mean, that's a lot of energy that he just expended.
And we actually see the Hulk take psychic damage
Yes.
from Scarlet Witch. Well, from Wanda because
Yeah,
she
that,
wasn't
that
Scarlet.
makes that makes
She
sense,
wasn't
yeah.
Scarlet Witch at the time.
I want to finish the plan. I want the big one.
So, yeah, that's my stance on Drax as a Berserker or a Totem Warrior. It's really up to you. But I'm more comfortable making him a Totem Warrior. Making those choices. And if we talked about every single aspect of Totem, we'd be here, all day. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. One thing I have to bring up
Yes.
is the fact that he has invisibility.
Yes.
Dude, how long have you been standing there?
An hour.
An hour?
Are you serious?
I've mastered the ability of standing so incredibly still that I've become invisible to the eye.
We don't know why he has invisibility. Or at least he thinks he has invisibility. But he has invisibility.
Yeah. Just to define it, its movement so slow that they are imperceptible. And Drax thinks he has it. And who knows, maybe Mantis just has a really good perception, even if her insight's terrible.
I'm sure I'm invisible.
Hi, Drax.
Yes. Now, we say that he's a berserker, but you know what? Some may make the argument that he's got some fighter in there. So you know what? Yes, I will agree that he does have some aspects of fighter. If you want to multi-class, second wind is very helpful. That's a skill that a fighter has. You have a limited well of stamina that you can draw on to protect yourself from harm. On your turn, you can use a bonus action to regain hit points equal to 1d10 plus your fighter level. Yeah, as a person of his race, he actually has regenerative properties, so that does line up with who he is as a character.
Yeah, and the other reason why we think that you're only multiclassing into fighter is that at second level, fighters get something called action surge. You can push yourself beyond your normal limits for a moment. On your turn, you could take one additional action. Once you use this feature, you must finish a short or long rest before you can use it again. And, more attacks is just better for Drax in all aspects.
Yeah, that's really cool. Go on and on. Maybe he's a champion. Maybe he's a battle master. But it's like that's a separate thing. I'm just giving you a little teaser of a fighter, if you will. Yeah.
If I had to choose one, I would say fighter. I would say champion, just because it helps his criticals, and
That's
we
true,
already
yeah.
have a lot of critical stuff here.
Yeah.
And if we remember from lightly what champion does from our Gamora video, it's just him doing more criticals, and I'm just gonna leave it simply at that.
Yeah. All right. Makes sense. Yeah, it's nice and simple.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, any more thoughts about Drax?
He is my favorite person to RPS. It just hurts me that there's no perfect way to line up the RP with what's shown on screen for his attacks.
Yeah. Or maybe we just weren't working hard enough on it. That's probably a complaint. I don't know. But
yeah, I don't have all the books.
I don't have all the books.
I couldn't read all the subclasses.
And we've made a limitation ourselves. We're not using anything that's not official. So no unearthed arcana or homebrew stuff.
Which actually makes sense for Unearthed Arcana, but no, like you have to be able to get it from D&D Beyond was our rule set.
Yeah. So that's where we are right now. But like I will stick to my guns, say that he's a barbarian at the very least.
Yeah, and I would lean towards the totems, spirits versus berserker personally, because like I said, I wouldn't want to RP him more than take away from what we see on screen for the attacks, because I just love that obelisk where he's just like, ah!
Yeah.
But the skin's the same from the inside and the outside.
Oh, that was a great beginning to the movie. Yeah.
What is he doing?
He said the skin is too thick to be pierced from the outside, so
That doesn't make any sense.
I tried telling
Skin
him
is
that.
the same level of thickness from the inside as from the outside.
I realize that.
All right, well, thank you very much for watching.
I hope we didn't waste your time.